Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my review of The Glass Castle. The cast has a little bit of history between Brie Larson and our director here. Plus, the rest of this cast is all-star awards-winning level. So does our actual final product live up to really strong potential? Not quite. I was left with a movie that was good, but wanted to be great. But let's go ahead and talk about the good portions first. Far and away, the biggest positive for me are the acting performances. I think pretty much everyone does a really good job in this film. Starting with our leading lady, Brie Larson, who is stunning. She is so good in this movie. She never goes off the rails in this performance. It stays grounded. It stays real. It's so layered and complex. She's able to just add so much into what was given to her on the script. And it was just really beautiful to watch her in the movie. Woody Harrelson gives a much larger performance, a more showy performance. But I thought it was fantastic. I think he really pulled off his character well, being somebody who already is super charismatic. He was able to pull off the positives of this father really, really well, but he also pulled off the darkness within the father very well. And he got everything in between to me. Woody Harrelson's performance might divide people as being a little bit too much, but I personally thought it was really, really good. And the same with Naomi Watts. I think that her performance is a little bit kitschier, not as hefty, but she pulls it off very well. And then we get to those kid actors. They're wonderful. Everybody is really good in this movie. And honestly, the acting is what makes this movie. It really elevates all the material up a notch. I also think that the cinematography is gorgeous. I think there are beautiful shots to be had in this movie. It all looks really pretty, and especially in a drama like this, beautiful cinematography actually goes quite a ways. But the rest of the film isn't necessarily a negative, as so much it isn't a positive either. And honestly, it mostly boils down to the script. This is a script that could have been deep. It could have explored some really dark, really intense, really serious issues and situations. And it starts to. It goes there a little bit, but then it always seems to kind of pull back. Until, by the end of the movie, we're in pretty much standard melodrama territory here. And when I say melodrama in the third act, I mean melodrama. We have, obviously, family issues at play. We have work issues at play. And of course, we have to have a relationship issue at play. And although this is from a true story that was written, it all plays out very formulaic. Nothing goes left field. Nothing surprises in how it plays out. And it is a shame because there is a very rich, very complex story to tell. And thanks to Brie Larson herself and her acting performances, we get a bit of what that potential is. Unfortunately, the script just is not there in that last act of the film to help her lift this into like prestige area. And the director also didn't help all that much. I personally wasn't a huge fan of the jumping back and forth. I did enjoy seeing kind of parallels in this girl's life of where she came from to where she is now, and kind of like meeting in the middle here. However, the cuts just seemed jarring. Like when we jumped back and forth, a lot of the time there was no rhyme or reason to why are we jumping here? Why in the present are we jumping mid-scene? And then in the past, we're months ahead of where we just were the last time we visited the kids. So the cuts they chose just had no rhyme or reason to them, and it made this style a little bit jarring to me. So my last real negative has as much to do with the book the film is adapted from as it does with the actual film itself. But both are at fault, including, again, the director and the writer. All of the flashback scenes, and this father in particular, are committing child abuse. I know some people are going to be like, you're young, don't know the old school, blah, blah, blah. But not only are these people homeless, these children are like surviving off of butter and sugar. They're not going to school. They aren't provided even the most basic of needs. And then this father becomes physically abusive at points, but is constantly, like, mentally screwing up his kids. He is mentally abusive, sometimes indirectly, but at times directly mentally abusive to his children. And he even takes on the characteristics of an abuser. It's all about isolation and just us, me and you, versus the rest of the world, and then trying to chamber them off into just this house, just our family. You don't get to leave. Nobody leave. We stay here. And it was really kind of disturbing, actually, to watch for much of this film. And they show the glimpses of charisma that he has, much like a lot of abusers do have. But we don't get to the real good parts and the really actually positive things he does until it was too little too late for me personally. I was already at the point of, these kids suffered a really traumatic childhood. There's a difference between a rough childhood and abusive, traumatic childhood. And of course the mother is no help. I mean, she's right there. She's complicit to what happens here. And there is alcoholism at play here, but we wrap this whole movie up with such positivity toward that dad that this could have been a tale about, look at what alcoholism does to you. Look how alcoholism wrecks families and causes you to abuse your own children. But hey, as long as you were sweet a few times and you're their dad, it's all good. And of course he had his own inner demons and his own inner struggles. And those are understood. But I just personally had a hard time sitting through what was clearly child abuse for a good portion of this movie, and then being told to come around, and then being told that actually this is a great guy, this is a great role model, this is somebody to celebrate. And while I loved the tagline about the strongest families are those with scars but still choose to love, great tagline. It was just hard for me personally to get to that point. And I blame the film and the daughter who wrote this, because she painted out such an abusive picture and such a dark picture of your father that getting back to that redemption was a step too much to ask from me. So overall, as I said in my opening, this movie was good. It is kind of a middle of the road, generic drama. But there was potential in here to be something great, and that's where it really misses the mark. The problem is, this isn't too much of a feel-good, this isn't too much of a tearjerker. I don't really know where this is gonna end up lying with audiences, because it's just middle of the road for them as well. So I guess I would say if family dramas are your jam, give this a matinee. Otherwise, wait for it to come out for rental, because the performances alone are definitely worth the watch of the film. I just don't know if it's worth sitting through in the movie theater. So, that has been my review of The Glass Castle. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below, and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on our latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see The Glass Castle? And what is your favorite dysfunctional family film? Let me know either in the comment section down below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!